We've come a long way since our doors first opened. Though our beginnings were modest, our vision was bold. With each passing decade, we grew. Times changed, and we adapted. We evolved, and we delivered. Market-driven programs that get our grads jobs. Seamless support services that wrap around our students. Sustainable practices that protect our earth. For the past 10 years, our mission ensured that the student experience came first at Durham College. But we've reached a tipping point. As we reflect on all we've accomplished and look closely at where we stand, it's clear. We're not just putting the student experience first, we're reinventing it. What's happening on our campuses, across our communities, and around the globe is a DC-grown and led transformation of the way we learn, the way we teach, the way we work, live, and lead. The many paths to post-secondary education merge and weave in so many new ways, and our approach to delivering that education, advanced learning that innovates, inspires, and changes lives, is just as varied. We are shaping this transformation shoulder to shoulder, heads down while working hard, but always with clear eyes on the future. This is our stake in the ground. We are DC, and together, we are leading the way.
Or you're fired.
I won't get up here doing that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Vassal's Field for tonight's OCAA contest featuring the visiting George Brown Huskies and your Durham Lords. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Durham College is proud to acknowledge the lands and the people of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, which is covered under the Williams Treaty. Durham College is situated on traditional territory of the Mississaugas, a branch of the Greater Anishinaabe Nation, which includes Algonquin, Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi. We now ask if you could rise if able and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. Joseph Agostino. Number 4, Angelo Riccio. Number 5, Asher Tagliadio. Number 6, Daniel Parasito. Number 7, Marcus Picasso. Number 8, Mark Picordo. Number 11, Hakeem Bailey. Number 14, Marcellus Molly. Number 15, Emmanuel Rani. Number 17, Tariq Ali. And number 23, Adam Acidic Kahir. The George Brown Huskies are coached by John Williams. And now, Lord fans, get loud for your Lord starting lineup. Number 2, Tegan Marks. Number 4, Ariel Luanza. Number 5, Daniel Truman. Number 8, Jaden Grant. Number 10, Khalil John Wedworth. Number 15, Nathan Blowers. Number 16, Michael Arfanis. Number 20, Leon Nayundi. Number 22, Zachary Hamidi. Number 23, Chris Manupo. And number 30, Ryan Sukowski. Your Lords are coached by the one and only Dave Ashfield.
And welcome back, everyone, to OCAA men's soccer action here at Vassos Field. We have the host Durham Lords taking on the visiting George Brown Huskies. The Huskies making their trek all the way back from Toronto over here to downtown Oshawa. The Huskies took on the Seneca Sting last time out. They lost in a 1-0 heartbreaker for this Huskies roster. They lost that one in stoppage time. An unfortunate break for them as they almost made it away with another draw. They made a habit of it last season, finishing with 4 wins, 2 losses, and 4 draws. The Lords had a pretty good last season as well. Finished 3rd in the East, 4 wins, 1 loss, 5 draws. So these two teams fairly even, as well as in terms of records as well, both walking into this game scoreless and winless. Someone better walk out of this with a score. On the mic, myself, Etienne Skitch beside me.
Eric Huser on the mic as well, joining Etienne. Thank you, Etienne.
Absolutely, and pushing fast here are the Lords, already getting all the way down in George Brown territory as they take a second here, pausing themselves, giving themselves half a second to think. Tegan Marks possession here. As they drive their way around, goes out of play. The Lords looking to make the most out of this offensive possession. But this one going to go the way of the Huskies instead. The women's teams of these both played just before, and it was a showcase in scoring by the Lords. 7-0 the score. Walked out of that first half already down big. A hat trick by Sage Thomas Roberts, of course, in the opening few minutes of the second half. Well and truly nailed that coffin shut. And it was Durham adding just a couple extra there in the closing few minutes. And now we have the men's games following that just as well.
Sage is the key piece of that women's team for sure. And another key piece for this men's team is DeAndre Watkis, and who they're going to be missing due to a red card in the last game.
An unfortunate break as that one. Another foul already called here.
It's going to be a penalty, I think. Called on Mwanza.
It's an unfortunate break here for the Lords. This was a problem last time around for Durham, was their fouls. They had more than their fair share, and that is absolutely a penalty shot here. Taken by George Brown's number 9. That one is going to be Massimo DePinto. Or sorry, that's not number 9. That's number 8 instead. Sorry, that's going to be Mark DeCoite.
Good strike from Mark DeCoto.
Mark DeCoito, apologies.
The captain of the team finishes early on. Another early lead that Durham are going to have to come back from.
It was one of my key pieces that I wrote down pregame was this offense and, frankly, the entire Lords roster starting off very, very slow. And what a boot to get this going as we get out of that goal. And that one goes out of play. Like I was saying, one of the key pieces is this Lords team getting themselves rolling in a quick fashion. And off the first opening few seconds, I'm worried that we're in for more of the same than we were last time, Eric.
Yeah, it looks a little nerve-wracking off rip. A silly challenge from Mwanza, and they're already down 1-0. It's not a good look. What I see is difference from the Lords, though, is they're getting the ball forward a little bit more, playing a little bit more long ball compared to playing a little possession like they did last game.
Durham, in their previous outing, played an Algonquin Wolves squad. Of course, it was those early minutes, like I mentioned. They gave up 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, one off a missed opportunity here as the Lords gave one away last time around, just at the top of the 22-yard box there. Drilled one in entirely uncontested. And another one was just a missed opportunity and in a very, very lucky corner kick with excellent placement. And red cards sealed the deal. Algonquin, though, you have to keep in mind, they did rank out 2nd in the province, falling behind Humber in that category. And Algonquin ranked 3rd in the whole country. Forget just the province.
Yeah, when you face a team like that, it's going to be tough to beat, especially when you give up some early mistakes. The girls and the boys team are both excellent, and they showed why here in Oshawa last week.
George Brown, of course, I was just talking about them facing a heartbreaker loss last time around. Keep in mind, Seneca currently in the power rankings ranked 3rd in the OCAA, so they didn't have any kind of short competition either. And Seneca 6th in the country as of right now. So both these teams had some steep competition for their first games.
Yeah, you can definitely say that for sure. As the Durham Lords have an early corner here. You got to look for a guy like Mark Mwanza getting onto this one. Last game, it was their back post runs from Tegan Marks and Mwanza at the same time where they almost created. Tegan Marks hitting the crossbar. We'll see what happens here.
Lords an opportunity. Moving around. And header, no good. That one taken away by George Brown. An excellent play down low. And trying not to give up another foul. Again, a little bit aggressive there. You got to worry about that. If you're the Lords, you can't afford to give up another silly one. Already gave up 1 penalty shot in the opening minute. Opening 2 minutes. You can't afford to do that again.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to do a take foul there, which probably would have resulted in a yellow in transition. But number 15, super powerful. Just avoiding going down there. Ratty.
And a corner here for George Brown. As I rip this one towards the net. This one comes up short. Didn't quite have the power or placement on that one. As this one comes back towards midfield, the Lords doing a great job at pushing George Brown back into their own territory. And George Brown's coach more than happy to let his players know his opinion on what's going on right now. If we can hear him from the booth, I can only imagine how much you guys can hear him on the mic. And George Brown, once again, possession on the side. And they chuck this one back in as they make away with it. But the Lords quick to collapse on it as they push forward. fighting for every inch there. What's the Lord's number 4? Ariel Moenza.
Great slide tackle there.
That's the Lord's. They were one of the better defensive teams in the league last season. You got to look to see if you can do more of the same in that regard.
Daniel Truman getting the start in this one, number 5, with a vital slide tackle there. I don't believe we saw him last game, but he came out with a thunder right there. The difference we see from this Lord's team is Jaden Grant pushed the striker due to the DeAndre Watkins red card. So I'm interested to see what goes on from this.
Absolutely. You got to keep in mind as well, though, out of the East Division, the scoring champion, it was a tie, but of course, it was our scorer in this one. It was Mark Coyle who had that opening goal. He was the East scoring champion, tied with a Seneca player. So you have to keep that in mind as best you can.
Yeah, and you give a guy like that a penalty shot, he's not going to make any mistake.
The Lords also had the East Division Defensive Player of the Year. Sadly graduated there, DeAndre Branch. So, an unfortunate turn of events there for the Lords. They're going to be missing him most definitely.
Hard foul there from George Brown. If you're Durham, you're looking for Tegan Marks here back post. He's key. That's how he scores most of his goals, just getting back post, getting a nice gritty goal off of a set piece. And you see Moanza stepping up. Those are the 2 you want to look for back post.
Just set up for that little short pass there. Gives him an opportunity. Great block there. But took that one hard. I want to say that one was to the nose.
Yeah, the Durham player was pleading for a handball, but doesn't look like that hit his hand from the reaction of the George Brown player.
I wouldn't argue hand. I'd argue closer to his forehead.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah, from where we are, it definitely looked like some head contact, and that's why the trainer's going to be coming out.
From being in varsity myself, I know stupid concussion checks.
Yeah.
As much as they are an aspect, and of course, player health, very, very important. Getting past concussion protocol, if they end up having to call for that, is not fun.
Yeah, I feel like football, it makes sense. You know, you're getting hit in the head a lot. Other sports, they might want to take it down a notch. But sports science approves for the checks, and, like, you know, it's a good thing, I guess.
Player gone to the side there. I believe there was number 17 from George Brown. That's Tariq Ali. And the Lords kicking around in their side of the field here, trying to find a crack in this George Brown defense. One thing that both these teams of George Brown seem to be very, very consistent in is keeping a lot of players very, very far back. Even the women's team did this, where they were keeping 6 to 8 players deep in their own field. Doesn't matter what's happening up front.
Yeah, when you have a lead like that, it makes a little bit of sense to park the bus a little bit more. But with a full game ahead of you, it's a little questionable. But with the women's side, I can sort of see where they're coming from. They don't want to concede 10-plus goals, like Fleming, for example. Jaden Grant just can't get to that one.
Angelo Riccio hit the ground there and draws the foul out of Durham. And And George Brown back on the attack here, trying to put any kind of distance between themselves and Durham right now. 1-0, George Brown up no less.
One thing the women's team does very well is their pressing. Durham doesn't seem to be pressing as much, sort of waiting for George Brown to get out of position.
Say this women's Lords team was all press coverage all night, swarming the ball with 2 to 3 players apiece. You got to be looking for Durham, especially seeing as George Brown plays similar across both their men's and women's rosters. You got to be wondering if they're going to try and do some of the same. They saw how they were able to adapt. Of course, scouting reports different across the men's and women's teams. But you got to do your absolute here to try and get the most out of your situation. And if, like they said, Eric, they're just parking the bus, you got to swarm them when they're just playing tic-tac around.
Yeah, especially when you're down, you gotta have a good press while they're parking the bus, because it's gonna be tough to break them with possession. So you got to win it on the counterattack. That's how you're gonna score goals. As you see, Jaden Grant pressing. Questionable foul call there.
The Lords, it was a problem that they got into last time, foul trouble. Well, you'd be more worried about it in things like basketball where you can foul out, of course. A little bit easier. Soccer, no different. You got to worry if you get on that official's bad side, you might be in for a long day.
Yeah, cards are easy to come by sometimes, so got to build some rapport. Don't go in for silly challenges.
We already had the PK award. You got to imagine this official not too interested in any antics. Lords bouncing around in the backcourt here. Or sorry, the backfield. Man, brain's on autopilot. And the Lords an opportunity as they press down low, fighting for every inch. Look to cross.
Very close from Jaden Grant. Almost got his foot onto that. Just missed. It was a great ball from the left back. I believe the left back, Hamidi. No, I'm sorry. I don't know who's playing left back, but right up to the left winger who just got in there for Jaden.
And good press here from Durham. Firing it 1.5 miles out of their own zone. And everyone making a move. And good play from Durham here. Starting to get that press. We were talking about it. This Durham team, last time I was making notes of it as I was standing out on the field. They're very, very momentum based. You have to get something going if you're Durham, if you want an opportunity here.
Yes. Last game they couldn't create that momentum, but I agree. They got to do it here.
And good press from Durham here, but it does open up the opportunity. Had to commit to one side or the other looking for the pass. Sadly, didn't have someone else alongside to try and help steal away that inevitable pass out from the net keeper. And drills it deep into Lord's territory. Good response. Someone has to get it, and that's going to be George Brown. I lied. It's going to be the Lords after a good challenge. The Lords George Brown working their way around now. Trying to get themselves through, and the Lords fighting it. That one goes out of play. Possession for the Lords.
One thing you're seeing a lot here from George Brown is they're starting to play the ball long. So Ariel Muenzo's got to be aware of that. You've been hearing his name called a lot by his teammates, just to be aware of the long ball. But they've done a good job of controlling that so far.
Absolutely, and the Lords trying to take advantage here. This time it's Tegan Marks. And didn't have the opportunity they were looking for here. And that's exactly what you're looking for if you're Durham. A good steal off of that one, and foul called against Durham. Lords are going to start getting into foul trouble if they're not careful soon. I don't know who's chucking this one, but eventually we found the ball.
It's a physical game already here.
Good curve on that one. Excellent volley. Comes right back to the keeper. Kicking around in their territory happily, George Brown. And splitting the difference here as they fly all the way down Durham court. As they fight for that one as they send it over to the keeper.
But yeah, there's another example of that long ball. It's going to be number 8, the goal scorer and the captain. He's going to be the one orchestrating it and looking to play long for the striker.
And good crosser here from Marks. Marks, quick move. Make it a couple of them for good measure. And the Lords almost managed to break out here. And that one straight to the possession of George Brown, as they willingly let that one skip away. And possession here for the Lords. Or sorry, for George Brown. And good header to keep that one in the field of play. Durham just has to do their absolute best now.
And that's smart from George Brown. Just going back. You don't need to force it. You keep the possession here. You have the lead. Don't need to worry about it. The problem for George Brown is going to be number 15 here. He's a problem. He's very skillful on the wing. Goes out of bounds for a goal kick. But like I was saying, it's going to be number 15 out here on the left wing, looking to connect. And if they can't get it into number 15, they're going long for their striker. So Moanza and Marks are going to have to deal with this together. As you see Marks giving some instruction for his right winger. It's going to be Munoko and Marks. They're going to be the 3 M's, Moanza, Marks, Munoko. They're going to have to be on the same page today.
Hopefully that sounds a little better on the volume there.
And
go ahead.
That's a great job from Durham, breaking the press there. Getting it into their CDMs and just breaking out.
And the Lords now looking to make some kind of move here as they cross the field. And that one, forget going to a Lord, goes straight to the Huskies. And Tegan Marks kicks it around. And another intercepted pass. The Lords have to get themselves into this thing.
.50-50 right in the middle.
And jousting for it here.
It's going to be play on, the ref says.
And skips away here. Lord's ball.
The striker for George Brown. He's been getting some instructions from the coaches all night. We've heard his name yelled a lot. He's just getting some clearer instructions right under us right now.
I swear the coaches are getting confused with themselves.
Yeah, that's a tough part sometimes, having an assistant coach who's very vocal. You guys get mixed signals and confuse the players. So you just got to make sure they're on the same pages.
Got to be on the same page, especially in a situation like this where it's a very close match. The Lords happy to keep the shots up and rolling, but first they got to get back into George Brown territory. George Brown, one shot on goal. Of course, the pen. And the Lords, one shot in general, but of course was not on goal, not quite enough. Four fouls for the Lords, one for the Huskies. As George Brown's coaches tell him, sometimes you got to take a foul not to give him a wide open opportunity, and a corner for the Lords. Sorry, you guys can't see the angle of the corner very much through the flag, but you guys should be able to see the ball flying in just a quick moment. And away it goes. The Lords trying to make something out of this, and a volley down low. Doesn't find any value as George Brown get rid of it.
That corner, they switched it up a little bit. They decided to go short there. Typically, you're going to see Muenza marks on the back post, but this time they went short, and they almost created a second opportunity with Muenza at the back post. But great job from the keeper getting rid of it. Now Durham's going to have to try to possess. They're going to get into their 6s and their 8s here and just try to create something.
Drills it. Lucky to keep that one in play. And the Lords playing a little bit of ticky-tack themselves now. Teagan finds a lane here for the pass. And did he just meg himself?
Just not on the same page, those two. And you hear there's some arguments.
This was a problem for the Lords last time. Down at field side was they're nipping at each other more than they were actually helping. So you have to worry if you look towards the rest of the season for the Lords team. Are they going to be able to put their differences aside in this one and truly get themselves onto the same page? Because if they can't get past the arguing with each other stage, how are you going to get through to push for an OCAA championship?
Exactly. It's all about the team chemistry. And as I just heard Dave Ashfield giving Teagan Mark some instructions, he wants him to play a little bit more forward. He doesn't want those, those 5-yard passes to the midfielder. He wants to look forward and the runners. You got a fast guy like Jaden Grant, you want to utilize him.
You see Teagan already that time just missed the ball by an inch.
Just not on the same page, Muenza and Marks there. Like I said, they must be on the same page if they want to get something going here.
George Brown the possession here. I'm going to chuck this one in just a quick second, and away it goes. Quick pass back. The Lords quick on the attack here as that one is forced all the way back to the keeper. The Lords moving up now. Lords are doing a good job last game of communicating amongst each other. Of course, as I just said, at times that communication resorted in a screaming match. But regardless, putting together a decent campaign here as they hold them again. Apart from that earlier miscretion there, holding up to a pretty good offense and defense here.
I would say so. They haven't really given up many key opportunities other than the penalty, so I don't hate what they've been doing so far.
And a long ball comes up short here. Teagan keeps that one in play, and Durham buries it. Who else? Lords, number 4, Ariel Muenza buries that one away. And we have ourselves a tie game here. The Lords have officially broken their goose egg on the season and have themselves their first goal.
Great finish from Ariel Muenza. You got to give Teagan Marks credit there. He did the dirty work and created that.
You gotta imagine this Lords team now. You can see them already moving. Pack of angry wasps out there as they start flying around the field, forcing the ball out of play. You can see just how much faster this Lords team plays when they have a little momentum.
Yeah, these next few minutes are going to be key for them. If they can create another opportunity, another goal possibly, it's a good sign for them. This is one of the pressing keys right here. They got to press when they make a bad pass like that. Jaden Grant's got to get over there and force him one way, which he does.
One of the other key points I made was getting out of your end, and the Lords now in these last few minutes have been all in George Brown territory. If you look at how they're positioned now, the Lords are only holding 3 or 4 players back and are pressing everyone else deep into George Brown territory. You got to imagine if George Brown keeps trying to park this bus, how much longer they can get away with it, though.
And Tegan Marks, as you see right there, he heard his instructions from Coach Dave Ashfield, getting forward a little bit more. But there he forced it just a little bit. It's difficult in a situation like that after you just get yelled at by your coach. You want to show him that you can go forward. But you also want to make the smart decision, which might have been going back there.
And good challenge at the midfield, though. Unfortunately, doesn't come up with the ball. And flying down the field, George Brown beating off the ball there.
Great tackle from Ariel Moanza. He does it all, doesn't he? Super physical, can score, can defend at an elite level, and showing right there.
Also acts as a field general from that back middle there. Just sitting there directing traffic. We were seeing him talk to Tegan earlier, trying to get him to work with his backfield a little better, and we saw that connection work between those two. You got to imagine now that they actually have something here that they're going to put the rest of the pieces together. And a big boot here to clear it. And just a missed pass. That was the breakout you wanted, and just couldn't get away with it.
Exactly. Just unlucky read of the bounce. And like you said, it's the ideal breakout. Right off of a corner, you get 2-3 guys forward against 2 or 3. Just unlucky.
Let alone that third guy was the keeper. Like,
yeah.
You don't have any better situation than that.
Yeah. It's not like hockey where you're going to create 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s easy. You need to take those 3-on-3s, those 2-on-2s.
And fighting around down low, the Lords. An opportunity now as they cross it towards the middle, and an excellent stop by the keeper. Keeper there, number 1, Joseph Augustino. A great play there to just get his hands up, take away that crosser, because the Lords just about had to. Both teams 2 shots, 1 of each on goal. Gotta remember, that one was a pen. So the Lords keeping that defensive front alive and well. George Brown bouncing it around themselves now. Trying to put the absolute most into this.
And like you said at the start of the game, George Brown, they like to sit back a little bit more, what you're seeing right here. They're just possessing the ball.
Well, they're looking to make the Lords make a mistake because they know that they're, especially now that they've scored, they're going to try and play very, very, very fast. And they're just trying to make them make a mistake. The Lords have done a great job, though, of keeping that line, not giving up any kind of situation where they could even contemplate making a mistake right now.
Yeah. It's a good job from both teams here. Just slowing the game down, reading it, trying to make the perfect play. And that's what you need here. And that's a foot to the head. Trainer's going to be called over again. Like we were talking about before, concussion protocol is definitely going to come into play here. And a yellow is shown, which I believe is rightfully so.
That one there, the yellow handed to number 11, Hakeem Bailey. You have to be smarter than that if you're out there on the pitch.
Yeah, a lazy foot up in the air, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous for you and the other player.
Say, it's not just about your own safety out there. You have to keep in mind the others. Yeah, substitution here for the Lords. This one was prepped well before the player down, number 25, Josiah Morgan.
I believe he's coming in for Tegan Marks. Coach Dave Ashfield hasn't been too happy with Tegan Marks' play, but maybe Tegan Marks just needs a little bit of a breather and just to get reset.
And out goes Tegan. We were just talking about him earlier. And how Coach wasn't necessarily the happiest with him, but tapping out goes Tegan.
Sometimes you just need a breather, though. You just need to come off the field, get your head again, and just get back in there.
And immediately impact of that substitution felt. And miscommunication there from George Brown between the keeper, Augustino, and number 8, Mark DeCoito. And DeCoito fired that one out of play with the keeper right behind him waiting for him.
Nice attempt there on the volley. Just didn't have enough power on it. We're going to see Morgan tested early here at right back.
And poked away from him immediately. Ooh. That one was almost really, really unfortunate.
Dave Ashfield telling his players, just get your head up. But he wanted Josiah Martin to turn there. A little bit of a miscommunication, possibly just a new, fresh set of legs. A little bit of different thought process, but they just got to get back on the same page. Coach not too worried about that one. Even though we definitely a little scary.
I mean, you heard how worried I was.
Yeah, we heard the gasp.
That would have been an extremely unfortunate turn of events. Of course, this one doesn't look like it for the Lords, and that in no way was all ball from how we see it. Of course, the official can see that a little bit better, but an excellent way to put a stop to this Lords breakout.
Great ball from Jaden Grant there. Good job from the runner just to get onto that.
And back and forth they go, the Lords. Practically dragged him down by the collar there. But regardless, play on here as Durham tries to break free, and a big volley there will do the trick. And they keep that almost in play. Tried to dive to keep that last little bit of it, but not quite able to do so. At 1-1, the score stays. Just under 10 minutes until stoppage time begins. We've had a couple of them, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a few minutes here. And possession for Durham. Kicking it around.
Hear the George Brown coach, very animated. Probably could hear that on the stream.
Wants to hear more communication. And it seems like all the wind has been taken out of this George Brown team's sails right now, but got to get back into this. This game is not over. But if the keeper had missed that one, it might have at least put one nail in the coffin. It's not the nail, but it's a nail.
You don't want too many nails in your coffin, I'm telling you.
And send it back to the keeper who boots that one a mile. And drills that one out and off target.
Just silly mistakes like that. Durham's had a lot of balls out wide, and they just haven't been able to get their foot onto them.
Well, it's been misplays that have been the name and heck, the whole employment of this game was just a lot of misplays. And of course, that one goal for George Brown, misplay. A lot of opportunities here, free turnovers, misplays. And the taking advantage of them, those two goals, of course. So you have to look, because both these teams may be getting a little sloppy. You got to do your best.
Yeah. If you're either team, you want to avoid the misplays, obviously. But if you're a Durham fan, you just want them to control that ball a little bit more. Who knows? Maybe it creates a chance or two, but they just can't get those silly mistakes.
And good play there by the Lords to keep control of this ball. What a play by George Brown. Breaks themselves free. Quick heel tap to bring that one through and into Durham territory, but little to no communication from this George Brown line has cost them more than a few times.
And just like I was saying, that's just a silly mistake. They need to maintain the possession there. There was rumbles on that last play that there might have been an offside, but the right back, Josiah Marin, he was keeping them on. He's just got to stay in line with his center back, Ariel Moenza.
And you could even hear the coach telling the Durham guys, don't wait for a foul. It's not coming. That was all ball. As George Brown starts to push their way forward here, trying to control time of possession, and they have well and truly done so with this park the bus and a little bit of ticky-tack as it comes around. You got to imagine this George Brown halftime speech is going to be more than a little fiery.
Yeah, this coach has a lot of fire in his heart.
Loves this team with all his heart.
There's some positives to come out of this half for them, though.
Absolutely, of course, able to take advantage of the mistakes, and this could be another. What a stop to keep Durham in this game.
Right as we
Wow.
were talking about the positives, they almost just made another positive for their coach. But it was a great save that just stopped that. Durham's going to be happy about that one. As they get forward here, great ball. Just bobbled that in the net. It was a good save, but just almost dropped it. But he's going to maintain possession. Nothing to complain about there.
And Durham now kicking around their own zone. No need to push it if you don't need to. But it is an issue when George Brown comes hauling and just spears that one right out there. Was George Brown's number 14.
Great slide tackle. He's checking for turf burn. That's always the worst. I always hated playing on turf and getting that turf burn. The grass is definitely a place you want to be when you want to slide tackle.
Hey, man. On rain, I'd take turf 80 times out of like 100.
Yeah, especially when it's not the best grass because there's going to be puddles and holes and a lot of dirt. Turf, the ball's just a little bouncy with the rain, but you can handle that if you're a good player.
And kicks it wide here at Durham, an opportunity to settle. Kicking it through. And they lose the possession again. Durham fights for it. Certainly animated in that one, of course, the George Brown coach. But Durham done an excellent job so far of not letting coaches' screams get them in any kind of mood, as they're keeping on this pressure. They've been doing a great job of playing in George Brown territory. They know when to push right now. The trick is, can they know to go back? Because we almost saw a really, really bad opportunity as it was 4 George Brown attackers on the keeper and a single defender.
Yeah, you gotta have guys back. I don't know if it was miscommunication or just laziness, but they gotta make sure it's on the same page.
And George Brown starting to clear it here, but Durham keeps it themselves. Passing it back and forth now. George Brown happy to just play back and forth here. They don't mind biding their time. Still still a minute and a half till stoppage time, though. It's lots and lots of time for Durham to make the most out of this possession. And that one, too far for the Lords. That one's going to the keeper.
Just not on the same page there. Looking for the left wing on that run there, but he's just not going there.
It's been a consistent problem. Like, the Lords, it's almost like they're not communicating on offense, because on defense they're doing a really good job of talking to each other, figuring out what they're doing. But as soon as they cross center field, it's like everyone goes quiet.
Possibly early in the season sort of problem. Maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe the chemistry isn't there. Who knows what's going in their heads right now. They're going to look for a long ball here. Watch Ariel Moenza. Going to have to get onto this one.
Fires. Right there for the receive. And kicks that one away back to Lord's possession as they fight for this one, but walk away with it. .15 seconds left till stoppage here as the Lords still with possession, fighting for every inch. And back to the keeper it goes. Stoppage time begins now. As that one rolls along the sideline, kept in play. And not anymore, as George Brown gets possession off of that one.
Definitely going to be a couple minutes of added time. A couple head injuries, couple goals.
Wouldn't call it a head injury, but certainly rung their bell.
Yeah.
Lord's an opportunity here as everyone drives low, and you know what? We didn't want that ball anyway.
It was a head scratcher, possibly for the coaches on why he took that shot. Ref's going to call
That's
out.
Lord just wanted it to be over and done with, as that marks halftime here. 1-1 the score. Both teams broke the goose egg on the season, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes here after this halftime break for some more OCAA action.
We've come a long way since our doors first opened. Though our beginnings were modest, our vision was bold. With each passing decade, we grew. Times changed, and we adapted. We evolved, and we delivered. Market-driven programs that get our grads jobs. Seamless support services that wrap around our students. Sustainable practices that protect our earth. For the past 10 years, our mission ensured that the student experience came first at Durham College. But we've reached a tipping point. As we reflect on all we've accomplished and look closely at where we stand, it's clear. We're not just putting the student experience first, we're reinventing it. What's happening on our campuses, across our communities, and around the globe is a DC-grown and led transformation of the way we learn, the way we teach, the way we work, live, and lead. The many paths to post-secondary education merge and weave in so many new ways, and our approach to delivering that education, advanced learning that innovates, inspires, and changes lives, is just as varied. We are shaping this transformation shoulder to shoulder, heads down while working hard, but always with clear eyes on the future. This is our stake in the ground. We are DC, and together, we are leading the way. We've come a long way since our doors first opened. Though our beginnings were modest, our vision was bold. With each passing decade, we grew. Times changed, and we adapted. We evolved, and we delivered. Market-driven programs that get our grads jobs. Seamless support services that wrap around our students. Sustainable practices that protect our earth. For the past 10 years, our mission ensured that the student experience came first at Durham College. But we've reached a tipping point. As we reflect on all we've accomplished and look closely at where we stand, it's clear. We're not just putting the student experience first, we're reinventing it. What's happening on our campuses, across our communities, and around the globe is a DC-grown and led transformation of the way we learn, the way we teach, the way we work, live, and lead. The many paths to post-secondary education merge and weave in so many new ways, and our approach to delivering that education, advanced learning that innovates, inspires, and changes lives, is just as varied. We are shaping this transformation shoulder to shoulder, heads down while working hard, but always with clear eyes on the future. This is our stake in the ground. We are DC, and together, we are leading the way.
Welcome back, everyone, to Vasso's Field. We have the home Durham Lords taking on the visiting George Brown Huskies. Both these teams had a really good first half here. The Lords, a great shooting score there down low in the box, and it was George Brown taking absolute advantage of the fact that Durham had a penalty really early. And it came back to haunt them. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, just a silly mistake early on, like 1 minute in, maybe 2 minutes in, they gave up the penalty. And it was class finish. But Durham really did a great job at coming back in. Like Etienne was saying, George Brown's more of a possession team, so they're sitting back a little more. But we're going to see some more action here as they're going to push for 3 points and hopefully not concede like they did Seneca. Durham, they're going to hope for a different result, and they're going to look to press hard and counterattack and finish. But we'll see what happens here.
Got to be looking for this Durham squad, wondering if that halftime break might have killed their momentum. And if you're George Brown, you're hoping that it did, because this team has been momentum based. We've seen as soon as they get any kind of offensive pressure, they come back and immediately put on a whole ton more. So if you're George Brown, you just can't let them get going.
Yeah, I agree completely, but we're just going to see what happens here.
Lord's coach was telling us earlier, this team has the potential to go all the way to nationals. They just had to put the pieces together.
Great header, number 5 for Durham. First minutes here. Daniel Truman. Sorry, I believe Daniel Truman started, actually.
First time calling his name.
Forgive me.
Truman with the ball once again. Flip field now, so you're looking at the other half of the starters here. That's all. And the ref got a little bit in the way there for the Lords and cost them a possession there in the most layman's way of putting it.
Great job from Khalil Johnworth there, just drawing the foul.
And the Lords now looking for an opportunity, trying to put any kind of shot here down in the money. And a ball down to the corner. Fighting for it, kicks it away instead. A volley down low goes right to the keeper.
That's a perfect ball if you're Durham. You're going to need a back post runner there to get onto that. He had his hands up after making that ball, and rightfully so. It was perfectly in there, right behind the defense.
It was a great spot. And the Lords now going to look to play a little bit more aggressive. Of course, we saw an outstanding volley earlier. Got to play accordingly. Passing around the far side here. Trying to find a lane. Oh, ball on the tackle. A great spot. And Durham looks to get back, not to get caught in transition here as they look to almost play a similar strategy to George Brown and just have everyone sitting back in their own end. You got to make sure you don't get caught yourselves. And fires that one out of bounds. Maybe could have had an opportunity to cross it over to one of his 3 teammates he had behind him, but
yeah, and that's what we were talking about in the first half. Just the silly turnovers, right? Just out of bounds, just kicking it out of bounds.
Well, it's situational awareness.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're lacking of it very much. I don't really know why. Possibly miscommunication, but and it's the right side for Durham again. That's just not playing to their full potential.
I don't know if coach has to make a little bit of I'll say substitutions, not like removing the player from the game, but just switching their sides.
Yeah, I agree. Just maybe they just need a different look.
And a big boot across the field here keeps it in play. Good touch on the far side here as George Brown looks to put the pressure on. Taking full advantage here of the Lords. And he crosses himself up there. Number 23 of George Brown looked like his leg gave out on him. Forget what was going on otherwise. That was Asadik Katir. And the Lords back with possession now. Happy to get the ball rolling.
Durham has a lot of space when they switch the ball there.
And George Brown looking to sort it out.
Again, yet again, right there. Just turning it over. Have to be on different pages. I don't know what else it could be. Good win, though, again.
George Brown pushing the advantage now as they get deep into Durham Field. And a wide open look here as they drain it. Almost hits wide. I thought that was about to be a 2-1 scoreline.
It was a great ball through. They just beat the defense. They beat one center back, and they had a great chance. They had a second runner, but the shot was definitely the right decision. Great touch
And
around him.
big run. Big run. Here go the Lords. Crosser. Second chance. Off the keeper, and out it goes. The Lords, all the opportunity down low. I don't know if that's more so pain or disappointment down there.
Looks like disappointment. Jaden Grant just couldn't finish it. Great chance, though.
Helps him right up. Not the pain that got him. He knew he had a shot at that. And a free kick for Durham, by the looks of it. I think maybe a corner.
Yeah, it's a corner.
Wasn't quite sure with how the official was standing. Look, he was pointing.
Yeah, it was a little confusing with the players, too. Their body language. Let's see what they do here. Moran's on the back post. They don't have marks in the game, so.
They're going to fire it deep towards net. Bicycle keeps it in the air. And George Brown yet to control this one. The Durham Lords finally get themselves control of this one. And a volley keeps it low, actually, in another corner here.
Great play in the far corner. Just the dummy. They just left the ball for the further guy out wide and then played him through. Great play. They play short early on.
Joseph Agostino has been excellent in net for George Brown. Hasn't given the Lords any kind of opportunity. Any time that they've looked to maybe have a chance, it's been immediately snuffed out. The Lords have taken 6 shots, 5 of them on net. Of course, one of those going in. The Lords have done a good job. They've only surrendered 4 total shots. Of course, 2 of those on net. So done a pretty good job all around here. 5 corners for the Lords, 4 for George Brown. And the foul is starting to even out here. The Lords still have more at 5 to George Brown's 3.
Great
and
run.
Through ball. Has a chance. Sent away. Lords keep possession as they fight for it low. And get rid of it instead. They look for a reset here. That time an opportunity as the Lords fight for it down towards the corner. Trying to keep it in play. Breaks free. Just about instead going to pass it around. And back towards the corner we go. And a big shot. And an excellent tackle there as that ball just pokes free. And all the contact on that one.
It's a physical game right now.
And foul called, I believe.
These sides are showing that they don't like each other. They're willing to go right through each other, and I love it. I love a good physical soccer game.
Well, it's better than seeing people do cartwheels like we saw last week.
Oh yeah.
And big shot. Kept away from the Huskies. And that one there, foul called, and George Brown's number 23, number 23, Adam Asadikatir. Talking about him a second ago being very, very fast-paced and cost him a foul there.
Yeah, Adam Astic, a tier, he's been fouling a lot. Every time a player is near him, he's been putting his hands on them. So if you're a Durham player, you got to look to just draw that foul because he's going to get it from you due to his hands-on play. Great ball over the top here.
Has an opportunity to split this George Brown defense in two. And the Lords took a little too long in transition here as that maybe wraps for this possession, and it is. And the Lords now back with it. George Brown steals it away here, pushing deep into Lords territory. And George Brown opportunity wide open. Over it goes. And George Brown's number 14 down on the field right now. That right there is Marcel Ismaili. And getting helped up here by the official and another player, I believe.
He was fouled on the play. Ref let the advantage go as Adam took a shot on net, the striker. Well, not on net, sorry. Shot it over the net. So the advantage was not given. And the coach is a little bit upset with that, but if they get a shot off, you don't give the advantage. It's common knowledge in football.
I don't know about a little upset. He is majorly upset.
He's been very heated all game. I wonder how their halftime talk did end up going.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall during that.
For sure. It would have been a great experience.
And a great steal there. And an unfortunate turnover for the Lords. Got to fight for it. They know that if they can keep them fighting that, they'll get a foul out of it. But Lords do a good job to clear it. Unfortunately, George Brown just as well at getting it back into their zone. And they slow it right down. And coach calling out to his striker there, trying to get any kind of movement. And big boot out to the far side. And an opportunity here for George Brown. The Huskies volley out far and overshoots it. And substitution here for the Lords. Tapping in for the Lords, number 3, Kira Sindaigaya. And tapping out there is Leon Nyundi. I think Abby's got her people mixed up again.
Yeah. It's okay, Abby. She tries her best. That's a bad turnover from Durham. You can't turn it over there.
Too deep in your territory, in your own territory to get away with that one. And what do you mean he's wide open down low? That one there, George Brown's number 15. That one was Emmanuel Ratty. Had an opportunity to bury this one away. Just couldn't get a touch on the ball.
And that's the guy that I've been thinking about all day. That's going to be super dangerous for George Brown. He was on their left side initially going down the Durham right side, and he was a problem. Possibly got into their heads, and that's why they were making the mistakes. But now there's no excuse for the mistakes on that right side.
And Durham boots that ball short, forced to fight for it down the middle. And what a boot to clear. Back to the keeper it goes. And Durham got right up in their face.
Jaden Grant's got speed. If you get the ball up like that, who knows what he could create.
And out it goes. And kicking it along the side here, the Lords took a stutter step there, gives them some room. Back over now. Durham trying to put the rest of this offensive possession together. Instead, George Brown gets rid of it. And it's Lord's possession here as they check this one in. And sending it way back into their own territory now. Durham, you have to be careful not to give up too much space. All room taken for free is room that can be taken back. So you have to be extra careful. One to one the score here, moving through the 61st minute. Just under a half hour left. And that one goes out to a Durham corner.
These Durham corners are dangerous when you got Moanza coming in the box. But you're going to have to look and see. They get their hands on him a lot. There's a lot of jersey pulling. Ref hasn't called it really, but I don't know. Maybe you look to call it. Maybe you look to go down if you're Moanza.
Big boot. Cross. Not quite there for the bicycle. And that one goes out with possession once again for the Lords.
Good opportunity there. I thought he was going to head that one in, but it went across goal. There's no back post runners really.
And that one as well. Why not another corner? Durham yet to make value out of their corner kicks, but can't take much longer if you're going to keep giving them opportunities. The George Brown keeper, Joseph Augustino, been outstanding so far, but if you're George Brown, you can't keep letting them have these kind of opportunities for the low price of nothing.
Good volley there. Great chance.
And a good shot, and just about as good of a block. Almost fell over from the power. And here we go again from the corner. Lords up to 8 of them now. And volley deep in George Brown territory. Too much behind it. Another empty possession for Durham.
Just a little too strong there. It's the right idea, but just a little.
Substitution for George Brown.
Oh.
Sorry about that. Cut you off.
No, it's okay. Who we got coming in?
That is Philippe Assis. Coming in and out goes number 15, Emmanuel Ratty. That was man we were talking about a lot, how he could be a very big momentum player. You got to wonder, is George Brown switching up how they want to play this?
Yeah, and the substitute's going to be going to right back. They're moving number 7 up for George Brown. Sorry, it's going to be Marcus Fracasso. He's going to be moving up to right wing. Man down for George Brown. Looks like possibly a cramp.
Yeah, it just looks like his right thigh there. Possibly hip flexor. Certainly doesn't look to be particularly comfortable, but I certainly ain't no doctor, so I'm not going to even try.
No clue what's going on down there. Just hope he's okay.
The trainer knows better than I do. I'm 90% sure by the sounds of the talk on the field, George Brown just booted the ball out of the park.
Yeah.
We had one of those last week. That thing, I know because I had to go hunt it down, ended up in the road.
Yeah, Durham was, they were getting yelled at there because they were supposed to be the ones to put the ball out due to an injury. But George Brown ended up doing it for their own player just so he could get that medical assistance. The ref isn't supposed to stop the play unless it's a head injury. So getting the ball out is the only way that they can get the treatment right away. And he looks like he's in a lot of pain. I didn't see the play. I don't know if you saw it. No clue what happened to him.
Looked like a non-contact, but he is getting up now. Helped off the field there, but getting off no less.
Substitution, of course. Number 22 for George Brown is going to be entering. It's going to be James Spring. He's going to be taking the injured man off. Asher Tabladillo is coming off. It is a Durham throw, but they are going to just give possession back to George Brown, I believe.
And that it is as George Brown gets possession here out to the keeper. Agostino. Saving 4 out of 5 shots sent his way. And George Brown, big opportunity here as they manage to split the Lord's defenders. Sadly, the Lord's defenders just a little bit quicker, and the attack just as fast. Covering distance like no tomorrow. Across, and neither Lord's attacker there to finish the play.
Winger just isn't out there making that back post run. You can't have everyone going to the center of the net. You need that back post option.
Yeah, the shots category has rounded up both sides, 6 apiece now. Of course, the difference is 2 of them for the Lords have been on target more than George Brown at 3 to 5 in that category. Of course, that means saves 2 different as well. One thing that George Brown needs to step up is their ability to give away corners. The Lords have double their amount. They got 8.
Yeah, and that's where Durham can be dangerous too, so George Brown just has to be careful with that.
You got to also worry that this foul category is starting to creep up on George Brown little by little. 5 of those for George Brown, 6 for the Lords. So if the Lords can keep playing a clean game here, they should be sorting themselves out.
Possibly some yellows coming soon if there's any more challenges from certain players.
Well, George Brown already has 1.
Yeah, that was a high foot.
So, assuming no one else gets kicked in the jaw, they shouldn't have another one like that. And a big boot crosses center field. And Lord's midfielders come up to make sure that one stays in Lord's possession as they continue to fight for every inch here as George Brown gets it back.
Moanza just rinses him out there. Cleans up the dirty dishes that could have possibly come in.
Durham trying to get free of their own zone here. looking to get away with it. And just little passes here, covered some distance little by little. Can't take too much though, as George Brown starts to surround them, and they have to send it back. This one cleared.
Great ball over the top. Offside.
Incredibly unfortunate for the Lords.
50-50 call. It was very close.
That's their first offside here, one apiece now.
You know who we haven't seen in a while? We have not seen Tegan Marks ever since being subbed off in approximately the 30th minute. Bad giveaway.
Is it a giveaway if they're still fighting for it, and that's a foul? Didn't want to take a second longer on that. Picked the ball up, put it down, and smoked it away.
No nonsense there from Moenza.
And a big shot down to the corner. And we're just going to give it to the keeper. Because, you know, Lords didn't want possession anyway.
It's been a theme of the night, giving away possession.
And a misplay there. Lucky that that doesn't come back to bite the green and gold. Looking around at the rest of the league right now for OCAA. Full time over in Vaughan as Humber walks away with a 3-0 win over Fanshawe. And another game, Algonquin and St. Lawrence. We were talking about Algonquin at the very start of this, a powerhouse of a roster. They started at 8:15, no updates all the way out from Ottawa, but Fleming and Centennial, those guys were definitely going out there. And an 8-0 win for Centennial over the Phoenix.
It's unlucky. And we have a substitution here. Number 18 coming on. It's going to be Yemen Dadal. He's going to be taken off. Looks like Mark DeCoito.
Coming out here for George Brown. That one's actually going to be Daniel Perisoto, sorry.
Yes, sorry. Apologies.
Got a little spooky there for the Lords. That one trickled through. But a good recovery there from the keeper as the Lords look to clear the lane. And instead, George Brown decides they don't like that idea and send it right back. As they look to clear some room here, George Brown pushing forward. Good cover there as it bounces right out. Puts a stop to this George Brown offensive, at least briefly. And George Brown still fighting to get out of this wing here. Putting everything they got into it. And they do manage to clear. I lied.
That's going to be a foul. Possibly a little bit more coming.
Looked like he sat on him. And a yellow presented. That one goes against Lords, number 25. That one's going to be Josiah Morgan, the rookie out of Father Bersani. Apologies there. And Durham, some excellent defense there.
Injury in front of the net here.
Down there is the Lord's number 5, Daniel Truman.
Looks like a cramp. Trainer's going to come on.
Probably just a little bit of stretching it out. It should be good to go.
Yeah, Moanza's going to stretch him out. He's going to be all right, I believe. He signaled a second ago that he was okay. And the trainer's going to take over and stretch him out now instead.
And soon to be up and moving. And up he gets.
No substitution's going to be made, so
Are you sure about that?
possibly a substitution, actually. Yep, there is going to be a substitution.
Truman looks to be stepping out here. Going in for the Lords here, number 20, Leon Nyundi.
He just came off, I believe, for it was a in the middle of the park player. They're gonna have to shift around who plays where, but Nyandi's gonna go back into his normal position at the cam, and they're gonna have one of the other central midfielders drop and play center back. George Brown going all the way back to the own end. Some mistakes here from George Brown.
Lords here. Breaking their way back out of their own zone. And just playing a little bit of pass around back there. And a breakout opportunity here for Durham. Pushing forward here. Has an opportunity. 78th minute now, and that one, a missed opportunity.
He tried the move, got his pass blocked, and then tried it again, but no options were really there on the second one. Let's see what Khalil does here. Great cross.
And player down here for Durham.
Going to be a substitute here.
Down the field there, I believe that's Lord's number 15. Number 15 there, Nathan Blowers.
Looks like he's
Nathan
gonna
Blowers.
looks like he's going to be okay, so no substitute is coming. Can't really see what's going on from our vantage point.
Looking like a throw in here for Durham, trying to send it a mile. Kicks up instead. George Brown making their way around. And Durham instead coming up with this one. A little volley crosses the field. Durham back on the attack once again. Cross. Caught by the keeper. has been an absolute stud so far.
Yeah, you've mentioned his name a few times. He's been very consistent. He's just been dealing with those crosses. Hasn't been too many great chances, and he's made sure that the other ones haven't even come close.
And the Lords happy and content to keep this one playing out of bounds here, not giving them even an inch of room. Coach happy to make the substitute here known well and truly. As we were talking about him earlier, Adam Asadik Katir taps out, and in goes number 16 for George Brown.
We don't have a number 16 on our sheets,
I
but
believe I heard Massimo DePinto tapping in there.
yes. And number 7 also came in for Durham. Christian Ritchie entered the game. This is scary for Durham. Goalie out of the net. Great clearance from Mwanza. Very powerful. Just gets it out. No
Happy to
nonsense
clear it.
clearance. Ritchie's up top. I believe Jaden Grant was subbed off. Just wanted a different look up top. He hasn't done much, but they haven't really serviced him the ball.
And that one all the way deep in Lord's territory there as George Brown player takes a seat on the way. And forget taking a seat, they're going to take a shot. And luckily falls right into the lap of the Lords. Just over 8 minutes left to go here until extra time. And a big boot crosses midfield. And the joust won by George Brown, unfortunately falls right to the Lords.
Great move.
Once again on the attack, the cross. Overshoots it. So many opportunities for the Lords here on these crosses that have just gone either 3 feet too far or 3 feet too short. And it's been very consistently one of the two.
Yeah, they've had many great chances, like you said. Just nobody's willing to get their head on the end of it.
George Brown now kicking it through, but Durham responds in tow. And a big boot flies right in front.
And that's a little scary.
That's extremely scary if you're Durham. And thank goodness the keeper has good head on his shoulders just to get rid of it. Good, quick thinking there from Ryan Sukovsky of the Lords there. Just get rid of it instead of trying to play hero ball.
Just unlucky. They just can't make that one last pass and make the perfect play.
Green and gold here. Making moves. Kicking it back around. Good cross. Big volley. Off the head, and the Lords still in possession. In the middle. Kicks it around.
There's no options out on the right wing.
Crosses it. Big shot.
Ritchie looked like he bodied off the center back there. No call was made.
And the Lords still in possession in George Brown territory. Have to clear it. Force the defenders away. Kicking it around here. Don't want to give him an extra inch. And that one won out by Durham as I push far into George Brown territory. And they once again cannot finish the play.
They won yet another corner, but just unlucky. Just couldn't get that back post run. It's like we've been saying the entire night. They just need that one moment of brilliance from any Lords player.
And taking the corner is going to be the Lords. Number 10 here. That's going to be Khalil John Wentworth. And another missed opportunity for Durham. And George Brown just going to keep this one short and sweet here, kicking it amongst themselves.
That's a very bad giveaway. Richie's in. Oh, just a little too hard.
It's another opportunity where they're just giving up too much here.
About 4 minutes left until added time. Should be a couple minutes. Hasn't been too many stoppages, though.
You got to wonder if we see our first draw.
Both these teams wouldn't be too upset with that. They would like the extra points, but considering how they started their season, both of them respectively, they would be happy to just come away with any result here.
Sure, they're both happy to simply break the goose egg on the season. Of course, you'd want one in the win column to properly break it, but a goose egg on the goal is bare minimum. Need the cross. Gets smoked instead, and why not another corner? Three minutes till added time. Corner queued up here for Durham. Firing. Buries it. Durham back in control. And what a time to do it.
What a great play there. I've been talking about the back post every time on the set pieces, but this time they go front post, and they make no mistake about it. Like we said, that one moment of brilliance, and they just demonstrated it there. Nathan's holding his head right here on the left wing. They possibly need a sub. But if you're Durham, you're happy to be up 2-1 right here with a couple minutes to go.
Seems to be down, not taking that one happily.
Possibly a head-on-head when he was in the middle there. Don't truly know.
Did we catch who buried that?
I don't know. I believe it. Was it Nathan or was it number 16 for the Lords?
We'll be told in just a quick second.
I believe it might have been.
Nathan Blower steps out, and in goes Dominic Legal.
I believe it might have been Michael Arfanis who scored it. But if
Regardless, we'll be told in just a quick moment, I assume.
Yeah. If it was Nathan, you can't be too angry with going out that way, being injured.
They are going to give that one. Nathan Blowers cost him the head injury, but a goal no less. As George Brown now playing for their lives here.
Yeah, if you're Nathan and you're going out with that injury, you got to be quite content. You'll take the trade-off. A little bit of contact there, no call, surprisingly.
Good joust by the Lords. And a through ball. Durham, an opportunity.
Offside, I don't know about that call, but ref saw it differently.
And another player down for Durham.
This is a typical strategy when you have the lead. You're going to go down at any minor inconvenience.
And
Subs about to be
substitution
made.
here for Durham. Durham's number 12, Josiah Elliott, tapping back in.
Josiah Elliott played a key part in last game. He played many minutes, but haven't seen him this game.
And the one leaving the field there was Zachary Hamdi.
Believe we're into added time now. I don't know how much time
I believe the
the
official said 4 minutes. 5.
All right, so we got 5 minutes added time.
Could be wrong on that. I'm just going off what the coach was screaming.
Durham wins a key throw in here. If you're Durham, you want to try to get the ball into the corner here. They got big bodies now up top, so you can easily hold them off. Just possess here. You don't want to have any silly turnovers here.
Now is a time where you park the bus and just pass it amongst yourselves.
Yeah, if you have possession, you try to get up to the corner flags as far away as you can from your net. If you
Sorry, did you say get it as far away from your net? Durham happily is jumping on that.
Yes, Durham wants that. But when you're not in possession, you drop back. You need everybody back.
Forget that. Durham's all in. Making George Brown fight for everything they could possibly get. Looking to put this one away was Durham with all the aggression. Cross. All the way back.
It's a scary place to be.
And back to the keeper and a mile up. Midfield. Over the head. And boot and heads it further in. The Lords, all the aggression. Looking for the cross.
No penalty. Looks clean to me. Richie wanted some more, though.
The keeper got all of it there. Wow, what a play. And
They call a foul there.
they do. Foul on Durham.
If you're Durham, if you're George Brown, you got to get the ball in here. But you don't really see many attacking options.
Oh, big boot will certainly open a door. And down low it goes. George Brown need an opportunity. They need it now. And opportunity to cross. Wide.
That was your best chance. It was very close. You're not going to get a chance like that if you're George Brown every time up the field. And Durham's lucky to walk away unscathed.
I thought that was going to be a 2-2 game.
It was a very great chance. The goalie was frozen. He had zero reaction. Nothing he could have done if that went in.
Well, that was something that cost them last time around too. Was Durham's keeper getting frozen?
Good move from Richie. If you're Durham, you just
Hard
go
push. Everyone in for Durham. Looking for the nail in the coffin here.
You just have to possess here.
And a big shot. Curves at the last second. Giving George Brown the ball. And Durham here. Getting the move on here. No more than a minute left. And George Brown, opportunity comes knocking, pushing all the way. This is going to be your final shot here.
Yeah, this is do or die right here. We'll see what they have.
The Huskies get stuffed. And a corner by the looks of it, maybe.
You need everybody in here.
Throw in?
Yep, throw in here.
That's incredibly unfortunate. You're looking for that corner.
They got to get forward here. Don't want to go too far back.
And a big one. The opportunity comes knocking. And Durham's keeper has it once again.
I believe this could be the end.
That one, Ryan Sokovsky. An absolute masterclass in net there of ball control. And a big shot there. Clears it. That may be all she wrote. Durham misses the opportunity.
George Brown get another chance. Oh.
Fighting for it. Pokes free. George Brown still with possession. And a foul called against Durham. And a yellow on that one.
It was more of a tactical foul, so a yellow card was deserving.
That one goes against Leon Nyundi.
And this has to be.
The keeper takes it.
We believed it was the last play, but this has to be it. Everybody has to get forward here.
They're calling everybody in. You heard of flood the box? Have you tried with every player on the field?
Poor service.
And the Lord's clear. One player stays back. And service, part two.
It's a good ball.
George Brown. And Durham tries to get rid of it here. And they do so. If I had to hunt another ball off the road, I would have been upset.
Yeah, they're not getting that one.
George Brown.
If you're Durham, you gotta wonder how much time really is left.
George Brown's been sitting in Lord's territory now for a while. And they keep it going as the Durham Lords seem to be running them out of options. As Durham keeps fighting for it, and another foul called. How much time could possibly be left as a short one here?
He's checking his watch.
They might have called 7 minutes is my other thought. I don't know. Regardless, time is ticking.
Could be 10 at this
Big
point.
one. And an even better header from the Lords. Volley to keep it in midair.
That's going to do it.
And time is called. The official has seen enough. George Brown, another heartbreaker for this Toronto squad. And Durham walks away with a miracle. 1-1 their record.
If you're Durham, you're happy with the way your team performed. You're missing your striker, and you get the scrappy win.
9 shots on goal, 9 shots apiece. The difference was those 2 more shots on goal that the Lords had. They put on an absolute showcase down low, and Ryan Sokovsky was an absolute monster in net. Anything that came near him that could have even contemplated being classified as a shot, he caught. He put on an absolute showcase of ball control. And, of course, Joseph Agostino for George Brown did the exact same thing. Just a couple unlucky breaks there, and that's what's going to cost you down the line.
Very well spoken. Just an unlucky goal to end the game, and just heartbreaking for Agostino.
Once again, Durham moves to 1-1. George Brown 0-2. For myself, Etienne Skitch, and of course, Eric Huser. Thank you guys for tuning in. And both these squads will be back in action next week. And we will see you guys on the next stream. Have a good one, everybody.